Before we dive into this next episode of Both Sides of the Check, let me take a moment to recognize our sponsor, Miss Cat Consulting. We help people that are looking to start their own business take your concept to company. So if you're interested in learning more, make sure you go to connectwithmisscat.com. In the meantime, sit back, relax, and we're going to pull back the curtain of entrepreneurship while we sit down with another great check writer. What's up, everybody? It is your girl, Miss Cat, your coach, accountability partner, and teacher. And we're here, yet another episode of Both Sides of the Check. But not only that, we have made it to season 5. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And for those of you that are new here, we have 2 terms that we talk about very frequently on this show. One term is called a check casher, and the other term is called a check writer. So a check casher is someone who has a business potentially, but they have a 9 to 5. They have like a cushion where they cash a check, right? But a check writer is a full-time entrepreneur, and that is what we feature here on this show. So without further ado, we have another great check writer here in the building, and I'm going to let her get to it. So go ahead and introduce yourself for those that may not know you.
Yes. Well, I practiced before, so now I know what to say. Hi, everyone. My name is Holly Cotton. So I'm a nurse by trade. I have a master's in nursing. So my whole life I was a nurse, healthcare, doing all of that sort of stuff, college professor, all of that, anything nursing. 5 years ago, I decided to write my first book, which was actually my autobiography about overcoming breast cancer. And from that, it basically just put me on a whole different trajectory. So I have 20 plus books now. I have an adolescent mental health initiative foundation. I also have several courses that I sell. I teach courses. I go out and, I partner with corporations and teach to their employees, how to do goals, how to talk to your kids, all that kind of stuff that they're looking for. So
Gotcha.
I do a little bit about a lot.
Okay. So, and it's funny because I always like brag about being a Jane of all trades, but baby, when I tell you, I think I've met my match, right? So, but I do want to ask, okay, because one thing I do know about being a Jane of all trades is like, how do you focus or how do you find that thing to start off with? Like, where did you start, this journey?
Yeah, so like I said, for me, it was actually an easy transition because, I was always in healthcare and everything that I do, even though I do a bunch of things, they're all still under the same umbrella.
Gotcha.
So everything is about helping people, nurturing, being a wellness advocate, being a mental health advocate, like all of those things are still in my niche, right?
Understood.
So I think that for me, then even with investing, that's probably the only thing. Owning properties was like the one thing where I really stepped away. But even that, I still stay in a niche of what do I want to own? What do I want to affiliate with? So I think that the easiest thing is you can do a lot of things, but if you're trying to put your energy into so many different things, you're going to get burnt out. You're going to say that, this isn't working, or you're going to feel like that, whatever. It's just
Gotcha.
you're just going to get discouraged because you're like, God, nothing is hitting. But for me, I feel that everything's still aligned. So I do a little bit of this, but then while I'm teaching a course, or while I'm doing a podcast, or while I'm, out and I'm teaching something about, hey, let's talk about employee engagement. You have parents that are working here that feel bad about, leaving their kids at home, that feel deserted. Let's talk about adolescent mental health, because now I can help you. Coming from a director position before, I know what goes on in corporate America. So I'm like, hey, your employees are, so everything I have is a sellable product. Find what people need. That's the biggest thing about entrepreneurs. Oh, I think it's a great idea. What problem are you solving? Every time I use Chat GPT, I immediately say, Chat, in the very first sentence, identify the problem that I'm solving with this idea. So if I go on there, I'm like, Chat, I want to write a book about such and such. Help me structure an outline. And in the very first paragraph, I need you to tell me what problem I'm solving. Because when I talk about the book, I'm talking about my idea. Oh my God, so I got this new book. It's this. But if the person is like, okay, what I'm gonna do with that? But I can immediately start off with, and the reason why you need this product is because such and such. And once you're able to navigate having 12, things that you're doing, or 4 things that you're doing, or 2 things that you're doing, I think that it becomes easier and easier. So for me, I don't think of it like I'm doing 82 things. I think I'm doing one
One
thing
thing.
in my
That's all in
purpose.
synergy.
Yeah.
I got you. And I'm gonna say I really, really appreciate that, because people will try to make you feel bad because you're doing that. Oh, you're doing too much. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what is too much? Like, you get what I'm saying? Because what's too much for you might not be too much for me. But what I also heard you say is, if you are gonna do multiple things, see how you can make it in synergy. See how you can, so that way it doesn't feel too overwhelming. So I appreciate that. And for those that are watching, I hope that y'all getting these nuggets, because the jewels are being dropped, baby. They being dropped. So let me ask you this though.
Wait, I want to say one more thing too. So just to segue, or I guess piggyback on what she was saying, is I wanted to say that I always say I love people being average. I love average people, because when you do something that's a little bit above average, now I look like I'm elite. So
I love
I
that.
love people that are comfortable. Hey, stay in your lane.
I love that.
Be average all day long, because people will see me and I'm thinking I'm just average. I'm doing average stuff. And they're like, oh my God, you're extraordinary. You're doing this. And I'm like, I'm really only doing a little bit more.
Exactly.
But the less that other people do,
The
the
more-
more elevated we look. So, hey, if you want to be average, go ahead.
You
There's
know
nothing
what?
wrong with being average. We like you.
I love that sentiment, because like and to that point, there's so many more average than us. So then we get bullied and we feel like something wrong with us. So I appreciate that. And hence the reason why I created this outlet and this show for us, because again, I don't think we get the celebration or the accolades that we deserve for thriving and surviving, through the 99%.
Right, exactly,
So,
exactly.
for sure. So I just want to ask you one more thing, because I think it's super intriguing. You didn't really touch on this, but I think I heard you mention this in passing. So I was like, I got to ask her about this. Did you say that you have some apartment complexes, or at least
I do. So
this
okay.
lady here?
So listen, I like people thinking I'm poor. That's how I get by in life, because as soon as people know that you're doing something and you have money, they feel like they deserve something. So my email is always, or my DMs are always, hey, you want to sponsor this, you want to do this, you want to do that. So listen, I like having a little bit of balance of, I keep my wins to myself.
For sure.
If you look at my social media, I'm like, either you're going to follow me because you like the content that I have, but I don't want you following me because you think I have money, or I'm flossing or something. If you look at my stuff, I never post cars, nothing. Because I'm like, that ain't your business. That ain't your business.
Part.
Yes. So no, I do. I own several rental properties. I actually closed this year on 2 apartment complexes.
That is phenomenal.
So yeah,
that's phenomenal. And not to pry, because we ain't trying to get in your business, but I just want.
But I'm po, because y'all know this shirt came from Shein right here. All right, Shein.
But I do have a question though, because you did talk about niche, and you did talk about kind of staying in the same vein. So would you say that the funds and the resources from the niche stuff fueled that, or was that
definitely
Okay.
So for me, my trajectory was married, middle class, house in Cyprus, doing what I was supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
So then cancer. I'm like, what if I die? What am I leaving behind? What is my legacy?
Jesus.
And I'm not talking about legacy financial. I'm saying, what am I going to be remembered for?
Wow.
So that's whenever I was like, you know what? That's why I said I need to write a book, because I started doing all these panels, talking about breast cancer, doing this. And I kept seeing people, women that I would meet like you and I, we're talking on a panel together, and then I go to look for you or call you or something, and you're dead.
Wow.
And so I'm like, okay,
Wow.
you know what? I need to get it together, because my priorities are like way off right now. So again, I just wrote a book. So my first book, I wrote at the end of 2019, 2020, the beginning of 2020 is when I actually figured out how to do global distribution. So my book is sold on Walmart, Target,
I love
all of
it.
those outlets,
I
right?
love
So
it.
I was like, okay, now I wrote a book. Now how do I
Well,
sell a book? And
understood.
so, but my second book was day one, a guide to identifying, organizing, and executing any goals. And so I started, like, it was COVID, everyone was networking, everyone was jumping on lives and all
Yeah.
these Zooms. Remember,
Yeah.
everybody and their mama
Yeah.
had something.
It was
And
Zoom
I
City.
just started listening to people's lives, like I jumped on this guy's live one time, and I was like, wow, because you don't know a thing is a thing until you see
Yeah.
someone is doing it. And then I'm like, wait a minute. So having a digital product is a thing. So my second book is the one where that's where I really made money.
I got
So again, coming from being poor in Louisiana, struggling all my life, you doing all of this stuff. So the first thing I did, as soon as I had a 6-figure month, I was like, I'm buying a property.
I know
Actually,
that's
let me
right.
buy 2
I
properties.
know that's
And
right.
I was like, so I was like, okay, well, Houston is kind of out of my price range. So where can I go? Where can I get? Because I just feel like I need to own something now.
I
Like,
got you.
so I just started doing that. I bought my first shotgun house, and I'm like, okay, so now what do I do with it? Okay, so now I need a property manager. So I started following people that did property stuff, and I was like, okay, but so how do I fund this? What do I do? What if my book and course stops making money? So I was like, all right, so I better get me another book, because now I know I have 21 or 22 streams of income now, because
out in the universe.
because every book I have is a niche, it's a genre, it's a target audience. You can come on. I teach you how to write a book. I got a course about how to write a book. So all of that stuff, at the beginning, I was hungry, and I was like, and for me, I don't care about having stuff. Like, I never was a person that I needed name brand everything. I did whatever, because I feel like I would rather have money than to prove to you that I got money. So for me, I could care less. So again, I was like I started buying up stuff. I'm buying up stuff. All of a sudden, I'm like, dang, I got a whole portfolio. I was just trying to buy one house.
Understood.
And then, like, this year, I networked with some people that during Super Bowl time that I was just in rooms, because now once you have your value, now you all of a sudden you're in rooms. Now people are valuing you. Again, this ain't nothing ever posted on my social media. This is because I walk in, and that I must be someone because of how I carry myself, which is always what we do. Cower down. No, I'm a Holly Cotton. How you doing? Hey, how y'all doing? Oh, y'all the ESPN cast? Okay, let me sit in your chair. And all of a sudden, you're hanging out with people and you're in rooms. And then when I was there, I was like, wait, so normal people can just buy a apartment complex? And they were like, yeah. So you get in. There's a group of us, that's what we do. We invest in apartment complexes. We do this, we do that. And they were just talking about it in general. And I was like, wait a minute, this might be feasible. And I was like, so it's just like just those conversations. But again, I have always said, as like year 2, because we're on year 5 of me actually being successful. Really, my whole life I was something, but year 5
She
of me.
She said I was something, but
Now
baby.
I'm something. Now I'm a little bit above average. Okay. But so again, you're talking about being 5 years of exposure. So I almost feel like I'm just a 5-year-old. You're dealing with people. Sometimes they've been doing this their whole life. They walked into generational wealth. They do all of these things. So it's important for you to have the confidence, but also to educate yourself, because when I talk in rooms, I don't want to not
that part. You
seem
don't
like I don't know.
Contribute. I got you. And not to cut you off, but that's a great thing that you said. She said, I'm just now feeling like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've been successful. So to that point, it's like, keep going.
Yes.
Because or don't get comfortable. Because what happens is a person make their first 6 figures and then think, oh, I'm on. And it's like, no, keep striving, keep going. So I love that. But with that being said, in our journey of entrepreneurship, this is both sides of the check. So we know that with both sides of the check, sometimes we go to write those checks and we might have a non-sufficient funds, right?
Right.
NSF, right? So tell us about a time within your journey of entrepreneurship that Baby, the check just
Yeah.
and-
I got the store right there that told me this ain't your lane.
Okay.
So again, when I had my first book, I'm like, okay, so 2020 is COVID, right? If you guys remember, everyone started making t-shirts back in the day, right?
Okay,
So I
okay.
just knew I was about to have me a t-shirt business. So I was like, I said, okay, you know what? And I've always been the one of where when I have an idea, I have a product that goes with it, right?
sure.
So when I'm selling something, I have a whole concept behind it rather than just, I'm gonna sell cups.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm like, no, how do I make a cup shop? Like like I'm always the one that's like, okay, because now I made these, but what if so that's always my thought process.
Understood.
So when I said, okay, so let me have a brand. So I started in my book, I started calling like everything Strong Squad.
Okay.
So that was actually my first LLC was Strong Squad. And I was like, all right, let me put me a little LLC, Strong Squad. I'm gonna start selling t-shirts that say Strong Squad. I had like different themes of it. I made a Facebook group. And of course I had people that followed me and did that, but I wasn't reaching a broader audience because not everyone wants to wear your brand. So even though I had Strong Squad, so I felt like I was doing too much of trying to explain to you why you were part of Strong Squad.
Understood.
Like whether you're mentally strong, physically strong, whatever, you had to go through something, whatever. So I was like, you know what, this is too much. So finally I was like, all right, enough with the t-shirts, because for me, I don't want a brick and mortar. I don't want to make products. I don't want to be in the garage doing stuff anymore.
T-shirt press.
Yeah, t-shirt press, right. And I was like, you know what? Good for the people that do it. I'm so proud of you guys because that is a lot of work. But I was like, this is not really it. So I had to sell my Cricut. I had to sell all my little vinyl. I had to get rid of all of my bands and everything. I had Strong Squad. But I mean, it was hard because I had developed a whole persona
I got you.
behind Strong Squad. And so then, I was like, all right, well, you know what? I'm just going to do my personal brand.
Yeah.
I'm a Holly Cotton it.
Yep.
And going forward now, I want to brand my name. So anything that I affiliate with, it'll have value because I need to make my name and my brand valuable. So if Holly Cotton is in the room rather than Strong Squad,
for sure.
Now that's how you start doing, building that up or whatever. So I
I
had to chalk it up to the game. I was like, oh man, no shirts. Okay, I guess I ain't doing shirts no more.
Look, now I do have a question. So speaking of a personal brand, right? Like this is so left field, but hey, we gonna just roll with it.
Let's dive into it.
This season 5, so we're gonna just kind of get off script a little bit. But speaking of personal brand, I do realize that you do have a strong following, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when people start, in entrepreneurship, they be like, oh, I don't have no followers, this, that, and the third. How did you, get to where you are with your social media, building up that brand, and what advice could you give to those that are struggling in that area or thinking that, I want to, launch something, but I'm just scared because I don't have that'd be the first thing. I want to do something, but I don't have no followers. What do you say to that?
So the follower thing is always a catch-22, right? So a follower does not equate to a customer. And so people get confused with that. But at the same time, if you're not findable and you don't have engagement, your customers will have difficulty finding you because a lot of people have social media based businesses. So it's like figuring out how to navigate it. Now, for me, even though I have a couple of followers or whatever, I don't have 1 million followers, but I recommend for people. Well, not yet. Girl, it's coming now. It's coming. I got some projects coming up in 2026. So y'all, Holly Cotton _. But for me, I feel like, and I do this as well. You get to a point where you try to be intentional about everything that you do.
Okay.
So when you come to my page should have a theme. And so I have a little thing in my notes when people look at me. So for me, having a personal brand is about being authentic to who I am. So when you come on my page, I want you to see that you can be a woman and still be sexy but still be classy. I want you to do this. I have a whole list of things when people look at me. And I have to go back to and say, is this a representation of my page?
Yep.
And again, what are you selling? If you're selling a personal brand, and you're just trying to be an influencer, then your page should have influencer stuff. Like people say that all the time. Oh my gosh, how you got that collab? How you got that? How you got that? Because my page looks open to collabing. If you don't have any collaborations, if you don't have any influencing, if you don't have the ability to speak, if I'm coming to your page and someone's like, hey, I'm coming to Houston, do you have some people that would be a good look for a panel or something? And I'm like, yeah, I know someone. Let me go to their page.
And nothing.
I don't see you speaking. I don't know. Can you have a conversation?
For
Can you teach someone something? So it's not reflective of that. So I'm not going to reach out to you. So, and again, people, I get 100 likes just today, from whatever, just people liking, but they don't follow me,
or they don't buy nothing,
or they're not buying anything, right?
Part, so.
And then also the other thing is that I say this to people whenever they're like, I want to write a book, and I tell them this. I'm in a book selling business. I'm not in a book writing business. So it's a big difference. There are 80 million books on Amazon now. There's people that wrote books. Now, I don't write books to write books. I write books to sell books. So it's a big difference because I got a course for y'all if y'all want to know how to sell books. But so for me, I'm constantly, okay, and I got a book. All right. If you look at my stories, all right, you see me looking cute. Next slide, bam. And on hollycotton.com, go buy this book. Go buy this course. So you have to stay in the forefront too of your product. You're not going to get ads coming in through like Walmart or Target and doing stuff like that unless you're paying for it. So you have to be the representation. You got to sell yourself. After I talk to someone, I want someone to immediately want to go to hollycotton.com and be like, what was she doing? Either you going to hate or you going to love, but you're going to end up on my page.
I love it.
And then I have free stuff. I have engaging stuff. Everyone wants something for free. That's the biggest thing. I know that's one of your questions, but I'm gonna wait till the end.
What?
But anyway, that's my answer about that.
I got you. And okay. So let's just dive on in. So on this show, we do leave a deposit because this is both sides of the check. We want to, give them some advice. And I will be honest with you, just through this whole conversation, you've been dropping those nuggets, those jewels, those gems. Matter of fact, I'm over here taking notes. Matter of fact, I'm about to be on hollycotton.com because I'm writing a book, CEO Mode Activated. So I want to make sure that when I write this book, that I can sell it, because we don't write just to write, we write to sell. So you know what I mean? I love it. So with that being said, for those that are thinking about entrepreneurship or following people like us, they see us, they don't really know what it takes. You get what I'm saying? They see the glitz and the glam, but they don't know the behind the scenes, right? What is some advice, some deposits that we can leave these people with today?
So what I like to say, and is very insensitive and strong, but I am a huge advocate for accountability. If it ain't working, look at yourself first. I always say a company is running how the managers are. Look at the country right now. Look at who the manager is of the country. So obviously when you have your top person is in chaos, everyone around you will also be in chaos. Your systems are chaos. Your products are chaos. So when you're dealing with something where you're an entrepreneur, nobody cares if you're going to win or lose. No one is coming to save you. No one cares if your business is successful. No one cares if you got $0 at the end. No one cares.
Right.
And if you're sitting around trying to create a business plan around people caring, you already set yourself up for failure. You need to create whatever the idea that's in your head. I believe in it. I believe in you. I believe if you have an idea, you can execute whatever that idea is, but you got to do it. You got to make it work. If you don't know how to do it, you need to find someone who can do it. You can go on Fiverr. You know what? I thought about it. I wanted to, my very first course, the one that I told you that was my day one course. I didn't know anything about making a course. I paid $297 on Fiverr and got my course. That course is still being sold today. So I've had several six-figure months off of a course that I paid $297 for someone else to make for me. And guess what? Now I have a six-figure course about writing and selling a book that I made on Canva myself for $0 because now I had a template. So figure it out. If you don't know how to do it, delegate it. Find someone. You can do it by yourself at the beginning. You don't have to immediately have a team. But you have to have a plan, and you have to have accountability, and you have to know there's times when you're going to be up. I might be doing something all day, take me a cat nap, and then now I'm up all night working on it. I have a new project that I'm working on. I've been up bags under my eyes because I'm like, okay, you know what? On Friday, I'm rewarding myself. I'm going on silent, and I'm not saying anything. I'm answering the phone. I'm just sleeping all day on Friday. Like, I already have it. Just make it to Friday. But now I know that I can do that because I'm not missing anything. I can do stuff and figure out what you want, because not everyone needs to have a business. That's the thing. A lot of people and then a lot of people with entrepreneurs, they think I have to have a brick and mortar.
Yes.
You don't have to. Yes. I don't have nothing in brick and mortar.
I know that.
Everything is on hollycotton.com. I don't print a book for you. All my books are print on demand, or you're going to get them on Amazon, or you're going to go through my Shopify store.
I love it.
I don't bring books around. People, you got book? You want a vendor table for what? I'm not setting up a vendor table. You know how unsuccessful vendor tables are? I wasted all this time bringing all of this stuff, and I sold 2 books. And most of the time, I was trying to sell myself to you.
Yeah, because you don't know who I am.
And I can do that for free on my social media.
Understood.
I'd rather have a QR code and go scan all my stuff. So anyhow, again, nobody cares about you winning but you, baby. So you better figure out how to win.
You better win. Okay. Well, look, I just want to say it has been a total honor and privilege to have you on both sides of the check. Thank you so much for just gracing us with your wealth of knowledge. So for those that didn't catch it, the times that we dropped it throughout this whole episode, how do we stay in touch with you? Or if we want to buy books or courses or whatever we want to do, how do we do that?
Yeah, so you can Google HOLLYCOTTON. I keep it very linear. So hollycotton.com is my website. All my links are there as well. My Instagram is hollycotton_, because someone that doesn't even use social media took hollycotton.
Really?
I know
Wow.
this heifer. But and then again, I have an adolescent mental health initiative. That's my foundation. So I have 7 books in that series. I partner with schools, foundations, anyone that deals with teens and tweens, and that's Your Mind, Your Magic. On my website, I also have a free interactive chat that's only fed through my books. It was only taught through my books. So if you have a child or a teen or a tween, they can actually go on, get real therapy, 24-hour resource right there. It's totally free. They can go on there. I feel ugly. I need some positive words. I have a test. My dog died. Whatever it is. And my Hollybot will actually interact with them, talk to them, give them some affirmations, positive feedback, stuff like that as well. And then again, I do have, if you ready to write your book, come to hollycotton.com. I got a whole book and a course, that you can do the course, and it helps you structure. Obviously, it has to be your idea. You have to put in work. Everyone thinks when you take a course, that's why when people take a course, they only usually halfway do the course.
Yeah.
Even if it's a live course, people leave before it's even done.
The course don't work unless you work.
Unless you work for it, right? The course is just giving you the tools to get organized, and you still have to execute it. So yeah, all of that's on hollycotton.com.
Well, we love you, Holly. Thank you. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in we just kicked it off the right way. Season 5, both sides of the check. I'm so happy to have you guys back. So if you are not following us, make sure that you follow us at Both Sides of the Check. Make sure that you're tuning in every Monday at 6 a.m. And I'm Miss Cat, your coach, accountability partner, and teacher. And if you want to connect with me personally, you can go to my socials at Connect with Miss Cat. That's MSCAT on all socials, or my website, connectwithmisscat.com, and we'll get it together. But until next time, I'll see you on another episode of Both Sides of the Check.